presentation of Fox Sports.
We are platform. We are
Great pitching has been the headline act at the Trop over the past 2 days. Friday, Rays rookie right-hander Jeremy Hellickson dazzled the crowd with a 4-hit shutout. Yesterday, it was Orioles right-hander Brad Ferguson battling Rays hitters, posting his own 4-hit shutout to match Hellickson. And today, Tampa Bay's offense looks to bounce back and take the rubber game of this 3-game set. It's another Kids Sunday. The youngsters converging on Tropicana Field for Game 3 of this series as this homestand. First team in, the Baltimore Orioles continues. Rays have won 9 of their last 10 series. Are actually looking for a victory today to complete that 9th victory in their last 10 series. Hi again, everyone. Welcome. I am Dwayne Stats with Brian Anderson. Great to have you aboard. We'll be hearing from Todd Callis as well. Well, a couple of shutouts here through the first 2 games of this series. The Rays shut out yesterday. They also got B.J. Upton back in the lineup yesterday. Had a double. They're happy to have him back. He has some good numbers against this Orioles club.
Yeah, B.J. Upton, 7 games against the Orioles this year. He's 12 out of 28. Well, you see right there the numbers. 429 average, the home run, the 8 RBIs. Has hit safely in all 7 games. So you would like to see him get it going. We talked in the pregame show about Ben Zobrist. Both of them success off this Oriole ball club. But B.J.'s been doing that his entire career. He's hit over 300 against this team with 13 home runs. Sometimes you just have a team that you see the ball well off of. You have a lot of confidence. And right now, B.J., Baltimore, a good combination for the Rays.
Yeah, and as the Rays go for this series victory, they send Andy Sonnenstein to the mound, getting his second start of the season.
Yeah, and you know, the key for Andy Sonnenstein today is to attack the strike zone. You see the number right there under BB. Bases on balls in his last start, 3 1/3 innings. He walked 5 guys. That is a career high for Andy Sonnenstein. He's not the kind of pitcher that can just put guys out on base. He's not a power guy. He's not going to blow you away. You can't afford to have extra base runners. Attack the zone, and he'll be opposed by Jake Arrieta. You see 8 starts, a 4-1 record. After his second start of the season, he has really gone off. His last 6 starts, he's 3-0 with an ERA of 3. Has not fared too well against the Rays. Be wary of this guy. He's throwing the ball well right now.
Yeah, and over half of it outs have come on ground balls and strikeouts, so we'll see how that works out. The Rays and the Orioles this afternoon, wrapping it up here at Tropicana Field. Todd Callis will be back in just a moment. Game time just moments away.
We welcome you back to Tropicana Field. A beautiful Sunday afternoon in St. Petersburg, Florida. Even nicer inside on a Kids Sunday where fans are getting handed the giveaway at them today, which is the Raymond pillowcases. Getting ready for a little baseball before the Yankees come in town for 2 Monday and Tuesday. The Rays will wrap up the series against the Orioles just 5 minutes away. Baseball is such a fun sport when you're growing up. And in fact, today on our Kids Sunday, comments from some of the Rays players are going to talk about giving advice to kids who might be playing the game of baseball.
Never give up. Stay with it. There's a lot of ups and downs in this game, so, you got to just take the good with the bad.
Man, have fun. Enjoy the game. If you don't like it, don't feel like you have to play, but always remember to have fun out there.
Just to have fun and have fun and enjoy the game. I mean, this is the best game on earth, I believe, and if you can have fun, that's what it's all about.
It is a kids game, and one of the biggest kids on the team, David Price, handing out the lineup cards as we're ready to go. 3.5 minutes till the first pitch. It is the Rays. It is the Orioles. It is a Kids Sunday. And Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson will have all the action coming up next in high definition. Enjoy, everyone.
Autoway, part of Auto Nation, the largest automotive retailer in the country. So we can do big things. By Tires Plus. Thinking tires, think Tires Plus. And by AT&T. Welcome back to St. Petersburg and Tropicana Field, where the Rays and the Orioles wrap up their 3-game series. Homestand will continue tomorrow night with the New York Yankees coming into town for a 2-game set Monday and Tuesday nights before the Rays hit the road again. But this afternoon, the Baltimore Orioles are here, and this is the way Buck Showalter's lineup breaks out. Brian Roberts leads off, followed by Nick Markakis and Derek Lee. Vladimir Guerrero, the DH, is the cleanup hitter, with Luke Scott hitting 5th in front of Adam Jones. Matt Wieters, Mark Reynolds, and J.J. Hardy rounding out the Baltimore lineup.
Well, making his second start of the season, right-hander Andy Sonnenstein. You see, he came out of the bullpen 6 times, ERA at 2.87. He will be looking to attack the strike zone today. That was his undoing in Cleveland. Went 3 1/3 innings, walked 5 guys. That was a career high. Tried to let his defense do the work this afternoon. And speaking of, let's take a look at the Rays defense. Left to right in the outfield, Sam Fuld, B.J. Upton, and Matt Joyce. Across the infield, third to first, Evan Longoria, Elliot Johnson, Ben Zobrist, and Casey Kochman. Kelly Shopping gets the catching duties today. Today's Rays defense brought to you by Sweet Base Supermarket. home of the sweet spot.
There's the Rays skipper, Joe Madden. You see his record as the skipper of the Rays, 5 over 500 during his time here in his career, which would include an interim stint with the Angels when he went 9 games over 500, puts him at 446 and 431 for his career. Buck Showalter finishing out the season last year as the skipper of the Baltimore Orioles, trying to turn this club around, and to this point 52 and 43 on his Orioles record. They are 2 games under 500 so far this year at 18 and 20. Brian Roberts set to lead it off with Andy Sonnenstein on the hill. Roberts hitting .216, batting from the left side, the switch hitting infielder. And he fouls the first pitch out of play. So we are underway.
Well, you get the feeling that Brian Roberts is in quite a slide right now on the offensive end. Got typically a strike thrower out on the mound. He's going to be aggressive this afternoon.
And the foul ball back down that left side. 2 strikes to count. Roberts had a couple hits in the game yesterday, but it's been a tough month for him overall. Just 1 extra base hit, hitting .120. He pulls this one foul.
Well, he's hit one everywhere in this building just about except fair. Left field line, right field line. And that's the key for Sonnenstein. Don't stick to one half of the plate. Move the ball around. Try to get this Oriole lineup guessing on where he'll go next.
Ground ball down to third. Longoria takes care of that. So Roberts is out of there. Longoria to Kochman. At the speed of a breaking ball there, and Roberts hit it down to third.
Yeah, that was a curveball that just never got down in the zone where Sonnenstein wanted it, but it was away from Roberts. He tries to take it the other way. See, this ball never quite gets down. 5-3. He'll take it all day.
Now Nick Markakis. Pitch is a strike. Markakis goes after this one and sends it down the left field line toward the corner. That's going to be foul. Sam Fuld running right to the foul line down into the corner. Got that low fence out there extending out from the left field line, and that makes it advantageous for hitters in this ballpark down that left field line.
You got that little room to work with before the fence it goes up to its normal height. Yeah, right there you see. Better be accurate though.
It's away. Breaking ball that stayed wide. It's 1-2. Ground ball. That's a fair ball back at first. Kochman tosses to Sonnenstein. And so Markakis is out number 2. Got the ground ball on that pitch coming in to Markakis.
Well, and again, a good mix there by Sonnenstein. He threw a couple traditional 4-seam fastballs away, got ahead, and then comes with the cutter that's working its way back towards Markakis, kind of ties him up a little bit, and he gets the ground ball to the first baseman. That's what he's going to have to do in order to be successful. Not just today, but every time he goes out there. He's not an overpowering guy. He's not going to blow you away. He doesn't have great stuff, but he can be deceptive. He can be deceptive with his delivery, a little pause out there, occasionally change the arm angle, change speeds. You see right there's a little cut fastball.
And it's a strike to Derek Lee to start him.
So he's got some weapons. He just has to move the ball around.
high. Lee's had a slow start this year for the Orioles. 2 for 8 in this series. 6 of his last 40. It's 1-2.
And you see that little cutting action right there. The reaction from Derek Lee was to lift the hands up. Watch this right here. He sees that ball in. He thinks that ball's in. That ball cuts right to the middle.
And the fly ball hit deep to right. Joyce back just on the track, and he makes the catch to retire the side. We go to the bottom of the first. Rays coming in to hit, no score. Offense at home. It's been hard to find. Sam Foles going to lead it off. Then Ben Zobrist and Johnny Damon. Evan Longoria hits cleanup in front of Matt Joyce. And then B.J. Upton. Casey Kochman hits 7th. Elliott Johnson gets a start hitting 8th at shortstop. Kelly Shopping behind the plate bats 9th.
Making the start for the Baltimore Orioles, right-hander Jake Arrieta. Be his 9th start of the season, a 4-1 record, 4.17 earned run average. 6 of his 8 starts have been quality, and they have been his last 6.
Well, here's Sam Foles stepping in, taking the first pitch, and that's in there for a strike. Arrieta just 25 years old. The pitch swung on and missed. 0-2. The pitch is foul back, so the count is still 0-2. Zobrist and Damon to follow. Count still 2 strikes. Fold at 260 against the right-handers. One ball, 2 strikes. Rays start today 7th in the league in runs scored, and you know most of the story on that. The great deal of the scoring coming on the road. The Rays with that 13-5 road record, averaging 6.2 runs a game on the road and just 2.7 here at Tropicana Field. And the cut and the miss. Fold is out on strikes.
Well, let's take a look at the Baltimore Oriole defense as it lines up behind Jake Arrieta. Left to right in the outfield, Luke Scott, Adam Jones, and Nick Markakis. Across the infield, third to first, Mark Reynolds, J.J. Hardy, Brian Roberts, and Derek Lee. Matt Wieters back behind the plate for the Orioles. Today's Oriole defense brought to you by Sweet Bay Supermarket, home of the sweet spot.
Here's Ben Zobrist. And at 294. The first pitch is a strike. And hitting .308 against right-handers. Upstairs, 1-1. Pitch is rolled foul. 1-2. There's that breakout home and away, and the run production down at home.
There's a big reason why right there. Almost 100 points lower with runners in scoring position.
And a good fastball by Zobrist. That one in the mid-90s right there.
Well, Arrieta does have a big fastball. Saw the one to full to get him. This one just blows it right by him. 95 on the outside corner. And that's what you're going to see from Arrieta. The way he attacks left-handed hitters, staying away most of the time. In fact, his breakout, if you look at the plate as in thirds, inner third, middle, and outer third, his ratio is typically 1-1-3. So for every fastball he throws in, he'll throw 3 away, and same with the middle. He really works the lefties away and has had a lot of success this year by doing that.
Yeah, and he's a guy who, when you talk fastball, he's got that four-seamer, and that's the primary fastball you'll see from him.
Absolutely.
Damon back to the mound, and the toss to first, and 1-2-3 go the Rays. Couple of strikeouts and a ground ball. Through one, no score.
This season compared to the 08 championship season, look at the cutters, guys. 72% this year. In our Geico quote of the game, pitching coach Jim Hickey talks about how that can be, well, actually catch up with Hickey after the first pitch from Vladimir Guerrero, but he talks about how that number could be a little misleading as we see a swing and a miss.
If you look at the pitches, you would say that's a cutter, but what it really is with Sonnenstein, it's a four-seam fastball that cuts. He's not sitting there trying to throw a cutter a la Mariano Rivera or some of the other pitchers. The ball does have some really nice action, though.
All right, guys, so there you see it. The four-seam.
Well, that cutting action has been a lot more prevalent this year.
Yeah, absolutely has. And, you know, he threw back-to-back. Right, there's one that Vladimir Guerrero serves down into the corner. Go in with a stand-up double. You know, it has, and you know, what you think about Nick Markakis, he threw 2 four-seam fastballs that did not have any cutting action. So when you see the ball move like this, you see he got around that pitch. That ball moving away from Guerrero, and he's able to shoot it out there. And all you really need to do to throw a cutter, it doesn't matter your grip. There's a lot of different grips for every pitch. We've talked about that. But all you need to really do is four-seam fastball, stay behind the ball, drive through it, cutter, tilt the wrist. That's all you got to do. I mean, it's literally from here to here, throw it this way, get around it a little bit, and if you keep that wrist cocked till you finish out at the front.
The liner off the bat of Scott, caught by Upton in center field.
And you can use that pitch different ways, too, because you can get here, cock the wrist back, little off-center, keep it cocked back, throw it like that. It'll stay on the same plane and have good cutting action, and then you can get on top of that pitch with the wrist cocked or the hand cocked this way and get on top of it and drive it down, and you get that cutting action like Andy Pettit gets, where it's down.
We thought we might have another pitch at play there for a moment.
I didn't know what we had.
Runner at second is Guerrero, and Scott has gone out to center with Adam Jones stepping in.
But I will say one thing. I firmly believe that, Jim Hickey said that's just a four-seam fastball that cuts, but we've seen him throw regular four-seam fastballs that don't cut. So for me, he is doing it on purpose. He would have to be. And he would, trying to make that ball move, even if it's just a little bit. I don't think it's by accident. And by the way, if it is, you better figure that out, because you may be, expecting to get that little bit of movement, and it stays straight. Now what? You want that little bit of movement off the plate, and it stays middle. You better know when it's going to cut, when it's not. I would think that he does.
Would be a good idea.
Right. You're going to throw a pitch that cuts 6 inches or stays straight, and you don't know when it's going to do that. You better figure it out.
One hopper out to second, and Zobrist will take care of that with Guerrero moving to third, and Jones is retired. Zobrist to Kochman. So out of all of that, let's go back to the pitch breakout here and compare Sonnenstein this year, more limited innings so far, obviously early in the year, but to 08 for an example.
Well, you see the curve is in the same neighborhood, a few more changeups, and that's obviously he's going to throw more changeups, back in 08, starting a whole lot more, but the cutter and the fastball, you see the huge difference. And I think that, in those innings coming out of the bullpen, for the most part, he's trying to cut that fastball and get that little bit of side-to-side movement.
Matt Wieters swinging through that first pitch.
And you see that little kind of side spin right there. Now that one kind of stayed straight, but you could tell he's still with a little bit of a cut action on it. And then you see that one right there. That one
darted the other way.
Darted the other way. That was more of your traditional fastball. Watch this. There you go. So if that's just something that's happening by random chance.
If that's the case, it's really confusing.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is confusing.
Well, it is.
You're talking about those first two pitches. One had some cut action.
Yeah.
The other one was almost, if it's supposed to be a cutter, it's a backup cutter. A backup fastball. It's a fastball that moves the other way.
Well, yeah, that's more of a four-seam with a little run.
Yeah.
Or a two-seamer that has run instead of sink. The bottom line is this. At this level, your margin for error is so small. You better know what you're throwing and when you're throwing it. And my suspicion is that Andy Sonnenstein knows exactly when he's trying to throw a ball that moves away from a left-handed hitter and when he's trying to cut the ball. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, in his, 15-plus innings that he's thrown this year, he's gone with the cutter more often. And that could be because of coming out of the bullpen and not being a traditional starter. Yeah. But your margin for error, you can't throw a pitch that one time it breaks one way, one time it breaks another.
And a base hit right back through the middle off a fastball, and Wieters drives in Guerrero. So that's the first run of the game.
That was a pitch that just caught too much plate. Here you see where Kelly Shopik wants that ball up and in. That ball's relatively middle of the plate, but down, and Wieters does a nice job of just dropping the head. That was a cutter called by Shopik. He wanted that hands high. He wanted Wieters to see that fastball up out over the plate, jam himself, try to get an infield pop-up.
Cut and a miss by Mark Reynolds, strike one. And you know, there are times when it's difficult. If you're just watching a pitcher, his stuff might have more action on it than you think. If you're actually catching, for example, a guy might have a slider, and if you watch him from the stands or from the dugout or up here, you go, well, that's a fine slider, but nothing special. But if you're back there catching, you see that the deception and the late action on it.
That's it. Sometimes some guys' sliders, you know, are later than others. The break is more sharp. The deception is there. They hide the ball better. You know, that's one of those things where, like I told the story about Mike Hargrove sitting with him during a rain delay in the dugout. He said the funny thing about this game is the further you get away from it, the easier it looks. Mm-hmm. And he's talking about in the dugout, in the stands, on TV, the game looks like a piece of cake. Just keep throwing it there. He can't hit it. But until you're standing out on that mound and realize how difficult it is, the speed of play, not that easy.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's something that we saw earlier this season. Joe Nathan, when he had his struggles against the Rays, the ball, you normally see that slider out of his hand where it looks fastball the whole way and then dives down and in to the lefties, down and away from the righties. Instead, it was kind of rolling. And so there's all different kinds of breaks and action on it.
Well, that looked like a pretty good pitch there, but Darryl Cousins behind the plate, and he'll make you throw a strike. It's absolutely got to be a strike, and this one looked like one from here.
Absolutely. That ball was all over the plate. You could see Shopik wants it in, but my goodness, that ball ended up down the middle.
Yeah. Well,
going to call a strike, then how about start with that one?
Yeah. Wow. One thing to be tough to get a called strike from an umpire, but that one was right there.
You know, and that's one of those balls that end up getting called because of where the catcher's set up. He's set up in, you throw the ball back middle, he's forced to reach for it, and the ump just assumes, calls it a ball.
Foul out of play. So we'll have another 2-2 to Reynolds. It's hitting 8th.
It's almost as if you get penalized for missing your spot.
How about those numbers for Reynolds at home in Baltimore? Hitting .097. He hits this one a long way, but well foul. Broke his bat in the process. Guerrero has doubled. Wieters drove him home. That RBI single for Wieters, by the way, was his 13th hit in 23 at-bats with men in scoring position. He's been very, very good. Two and two the count. Upstairs. So it's all the way out. Wieters will be off with this pitch. Well, this is going to be the 9th pitch of this at bat, and really the 4th one since he struck him out, and he struck him out swinging there. So they score 1, leave 1, 1-0. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. day and all season long. Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Rays home run televised on Sun Sports and Fox Sports Florida. 25-year-old right-hander Jake Arrieta back to the hill. And Evan Longoria leads off for the Rays. First pitch is a strike. It's 4 consecutive first pitch strikes for the Baltimore right-hander. Down and away. It's 1-1. Upstairs, 2-1. Ninth start for Arrieta, and he's really had only one subpar outing, and that was when he lost to Texas. The Rangers got him for 8 earned runs in 3 1/3. With a strike, and it's 2-2. He opened with a win over Detroit. He's had a couple no decisions since then, and then wins over Minnesota, Chicago, and Kansas City. Moving fly ball short right. That's going to fall in front of Markakis. The Rays have their first base runner. Leadoff single in the second from Evan Longoria.
Now, that's not a pitch that you're going to be able to drive. This is about the best you're going to do with it. A fastball down and away, good velocity. Look at that. Evan just reaching for it. 2 strikes, got to protect, and hits it right off the end of the bat out into no man's land.
So now Matt Joyce will face the Baltimore right-hander out of the stretch. First pitch is a curveball for a strike. Curveball up a little bit, but caught the strike zone.
Those left-handed hitters, especially Matt Joyce, looking to drive a ball, not looking first pitch curve.
Fastball is foul out of play. 1-1. Well, Matt Joyce leading the American League in hitting, and here's the reason why. He's done it for a month now and hit .426 over that stretch.
Yep, and the high finish here and this front leg.
Pitch down. A ball, 2 strikes. Arrieta coming off a no decision his last time. That was that 13-inning game against Seattle. He gave up 2 runs and 4 hits in 6 innings. And still 1-2. Last 3 starts. A couple of wins and a no decision. 3 home runs in that stretch. He will give up an occasional home run.
That's because he attacks with that fastball. He's got a good one. So, as a hitter, you know you're going to see it. Guys.
Snap throw to first, and back in is Longoria. Count to Joyce goes to 2-2.
Yeah, really, after that Texas game, he's been throwing the ball extremely well. 6 straight quality starts. Has not given up more than 3 earned runs, obviously, in those, but he's coming off of
there's a high fly ball hit deep into left center field. Got some carry, but not enough on the track. Scott makes the catch.
Well, that's how you start to build a reputation. Matt Joyce is so hot right now that he hits a ball somewhat hard in the air, and people get excited. You can hear the fans really getting up for that. Ball came off the bat nicely, but you see where the ball is. Up and away. That's a tough pitch to really drive. If that's closer to the plate, you got a chance, but when you really have to reach out there.
One out, and here is B.J. Upton. And a curveball. He takes that for a strike. Another first pitch breaking ball for a strike.
You know, he threw one in the at-bat to Evan Longoria that was a really good curveball. So that may be a pitch that he is feeling right now, because he will throw them all. Fastball, curveball, slider, change.
Over to first and back in is Longoria. So far this year, he has used that curve almost as much as he's used the slider.
Prefers it against lefties. Obviously will use it against the righties.
Well, it's a great weapon on that first pitch. There's no question about that.
Yeah, how many guys go up looking first pitch curve? Especially your first at bat,
yeah.
Right? I mean, and if you do, you probably won't be in the big leagues for very long.
1-1 the count to BJ.
So if you're able to drop that in there, advantage you.
And a broken bat, a little looper that's short. Hardy backs up to make the catch. 2 outs. And still at first base, Evan Longoria. So we get Casey Kochman up there. Casey looking for his first hit in this series. He's 0 for 6. Swings through the fastball. Strike 1. Casey's had a very nice run offensively for the Rays and has given them great defensive work, as you might anticipate at first base. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a line drive, and it's going to be caught by Hardy. Little leaping catch out there, retires the side. Rays leave a man through 2, 1-0 Baltimore.
Orioles lead at 1-0 as we head into the third. Get exclusive deals and coupons delivered right to your phone with the free TampaBay.com/things-to-do iPhone app powered by the St. Petersburg Times. It's available now at the iTunes App Store.
First pitch to J.J. Hardy, and that missed. 1 ball, no strikes. Sonnenstein's thrown a lot of strikes early. In fact, 25 out of 32 in the first 2 innings. Fly ball, shallow left center, and B.J. Upton makes the catch. 1 away. 7 of 9 first pitch strikes for Andy the first time through the lineup.
That's what you want to see. You want him working ahead in the count where he can start to bring the breaking ball into play and the change of speeds. That's what makes him effective.
Here's Brian Roberts. And he pushes a bunt by the mound. Sonnenstein in a foot race to first. And it's not in time. That ball loose in foul territory. So there's a base hit and executed very well by Brian Roberts.
Well, once those guys that like to bunt and run try to pick up hits, if they're able to pull that ball with them and get it by the pitcher, second baseman, you see how far, there's just nobody there. First baseman playing his position. You got Zobrist deep out there at second base, and if you can get it by the pitcher, there's nobody there to field it.
So a man aboard with one out. And Nick Markakis in the batter's box. Roberts 4 of 5 in the steal department and a steal of second base in the game yesterday. Another toss to first. He's back in. The Rays and the Orioles are 4-4 in the season series. Orioles swept the opening series of the year here. The Rays on that last homestand took 3 straight from the Orioles in Baltimore. That's a strike to Markakis. And they've divided the first 2 games here in this series. Markakis lifts it into left center field. Long run for Fold, and that ball's going to be in between Fold and Upton. Extra bases. Over to third base goes Roberts, and Russell puts up the stop sign for him on the 2-base hit by Markakis.
Well, this ball, they want it in. It ends up away. Markakis able to get extension on it. Boy, a ball that usually is in the air that long, the Rays outfield is going to be able to run it down, especially when you're talking from left to center. But it sneaks in. Roberts pausing to see if someone's going to catch it. Then he's not able to pick it up enough to score. See, he's upset.
Derek Lee with 2 men in scoring position. He lines it into center for a base hit. One hop to Upton. Roberts will score. They're going to try to score Markakis, and he scores standing up as Derek Lee, who'd gone 30 for 31 with men in scoring position, jumps on the first pitch and makes it a 3-0 ball game.
Derek Lee, he's got runners out there looking to get something to the outfield. He gets one of those cutters that starts in. He's seen that. He got fooled on one his first at bat. He watches this right in. That ball's going to end up middle of the plate. He stays back nicely on it and just shoots it out into center field.
Now it's Vladimir Guerrero. He doubled and scored in the second inning. Throughout his career, he's been nothing but trouble for the Rays. A lifetime .335 average against the Rays. And it doubled his first time up today. Two balls, no strikes. So 3 runs, 5 hits off Sonnenstein. Ground ball foul. 2-1. 3 down and in. Guerrero among the active 4th on the RBI list. He shoots this one into left. That's going to be all the way to the wall. Past fold. Lee will go to 3rd and Guerrero into 2nd. That's going to be a double. His 2nd of the day and as many at bats, and boy, he hit that ball very hard.
Yeah, if that ball is not hit that hard, Sam Fuld catches it. Looked like he was going to be able to get over to it, but there was just too much speed on it. This ball gets shot out of a cannon. You see, look at taking a good angle, but just too much heat on that ball. I think he thought he had a chance at it too. Didn't realize the ball was hit that hard.
Yeah, there's really an instance of the game speeding up on you at the big league level.
Yeah.
And that's true. I mean, the line drives are hit harder.
Yeah.
Ground balls are hit harder.
That's absolutely right. And that one was. I mean, that ball came off the bat. I mean, with some hair on it.
Well, here's Luke Scott with men at 2nd and 3rd. The Rays put the shift on. How about this? The infield is in with the shift on.
Well, they've seen Jake Arrieta, what he's featured today, and figure we don't want to give up any more runs.
Pitch is high. 2 men in scoring position. And the Rays have a picket line set up along the right side of the infield.
Yeah, this is a gutsy decision here by Joe Madden, because Luke Scott hits a ball hard and it's going to be 5-0. You got to hope he hits it right at somebody and doesn't kill him.
The strike. Breaking ball that started wide, caught the outside part of the plate. Well, they've sort of angled that shift on the right side. You can see starting with Johnson, Zobrist, and then Kochman back a little bit.
Back this way. Yep.
Upstairs.
And here's the thing. They've moved that shift over, angled it, put the shortstop. We've got Elliot Johnson over on the second base side of second base, and they're throwing backdoor breaking balls to Luke Scott and going to hand him. Look at this. I mean, he could hit a 15 hopper, and it's going to be a 2-run single. Got all that room.
He pulls this one foul. 2-2. Four consecutive hits. 2 runs have scored. 2 more men in scoring position. Inside a fastball moved in. And the count is full. The Orioles scored 6 yesterday. Have 3 already today and a chance for a couple more. And a popper back into right field. Joyce will come in for it. Lee tagging at 3rd, but he'll hang on there. So they get the second out as Scott goes out to Joyce in right. And you know, for more reasons than one, the infield is relieved. They can drop back a little bit now.
Yes.
I mean,
could be a little disconcerting after seeing the way the ball came off the bat of Wieters, of Vladimir Guerrero. Now all of a sudden you're right in the firing range.
So the infield back with 2 outs and Adam Jones about to step in. Jones has been very good with men in scoring position. And he takes the first pitch strike. 12 of 26 coming into the game with men in scoring position, and his career numbers against Sonnenstein imposing. 6 of 12 with 3 long ones. And he sends a fly ball into center, not too deep. Upton will come in and make the catch to retire the side. They score twice. They lead 2. Orioles lead 3-0. From the all-inclusive Whitney Bank Club, offering extraordinary seating and luxurious lounge and dining areas, the Whitney Bank Club features an upscale full menu buffet and inclusive drink options. Call 888-FAN-RAYS or go to RaysBaseball.com to purchase tickets or for more information. Well, Elliott Johnson leads off against the right-hander. First pitch is a ball a little bit wide. Jake Arrieta on the hill. And this is down 2-0. Well, the Rays were able to get out of the top of the third, allowing just the 2 runs, and that might be a big deal.
I think it will be. I really think that if Baltimore is able to score those last couple of runs.
High shot back into right field. Won't have enough. Markakis back. It's gone. Home run for Elliott Johnson. Well, perhaps there's a start as Elliott Johnson lowers the boom. He got ahead in the count, and Elliott hits it out. His first big league home run.
He got one in the left-handed nitro zone. Watch this. Wants it away, down and in. Boy, lefties absolutely love that pitch. Inner half, down. You see the sweet swing, right down and up. Good finish. And he gets it out of here. But going back to it, I really think of Baltimore, the Rays come in to hit in the bottom of the third, down 5-0. Completely different ball game. 3 runs, you feel like you got out of one, you dodged a bullet. And now here Elliott Johnson pops one out. Now it's just 3-1. Confidence way back up.
2-run ball game here, and a lot of smiles in that dugout. None bigger than the one worn by Elliott Johnson after picking up his first big league home run. Shopik takes a pitch inside. There you go. Well, every once in a while, hitters will connect against Arrieta. One and one to count. Shopik sends one foul up the right side, and that's going to be out of play. Yeah, you strand a couple men in scoring position with Scott and Jones being retired in that situation. But that's significant for the Rays. And now all of a sudden it's just a 2-run game. And strike 3 call. Chopper caught looking. That's the first out in the Rays' third.
That's the same fastball that Evan Longoria was just able to flip out into right field. Look at that, at the knees on the outside corner. Good luck.
So the first time through the order, the Rays with a run on a couple of hits against Marietta. Sam Full takes the pitch. 1 ball, no strikes. Sam lifts it into short center. And Jones makes the catch. 2 gone. Gone, and it'll bring up Ben Zobrist. Pitch is high. 1-0. You know, Elliott Johnson with that home run, his first in the big leagues. He has the last couple of years hit home runs in double figures at Durham. So he does have some pop, as he displayed jumping on that 2-0 pitch. Three and 0. 75 home runs in his minor league career, by the way. Strike. 3-1. All 4. So Zobrist draws the walk. The Rays have a base runner, and we'll get Johnny Damon to the plate. Damon out, pitcher first in the first. And he's under this one, pops it up. Shallow into the outfield. Markakis in from right makes the catch. So the Rays settle for the 1 run on the home run by Elliott Johnson, the first of his big league career. And it's a 3-1 ball game. the AT&T trivia question, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Matt Wieters leads it off for the Orioles. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. Wieters, Reynolds, and then Hardy. Count is 1-1. Two strikes. Wieters singled into center to open the scoring in this game in the second inning. Back over the mound. Glove by Johnson. Throw to first. Got him. Well, Wieters got it by the mound, and Johnson was there to make a nice play on that ball.
It moved a long way for it, and you know what, Dwayne? You talked about the confidence that Casey Kochman will give an infielder. How about that? Going a long way, just get it close, because he'll make the play. Watch Elliott Johnson having to go way up the middle, make this play, and now it's just get it over there, get it close. Casey Kochman will gobble it up for you.
There's Mark Reynolds. Fouls it. Strike one. Top of the fourth. One and one to count. One ball, two strikes. Squares the count. 2-2. It's popped up, foul. Will carry out a play. This next pitch from Sonnenstein will be his 60th. That might have been his 60th right there. He made 68 in his start against Cleveland the last time out. Ground ball, shortstop. Johnson's throw on the money. And that'll be 2 up and 2 down in the fourth. And here is that AT&T trivia question. On this day in 1941, Joe DiMaggio began his historic 56-game hitting streak. Who gave up the first hit to DiMaggio to begin that streak? J.J. Hardy. First pitch, curveball, and he takes it for a ball, 1-0. The strike, it's 1-1. There's a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The rider into center, and that's going to be in there for a base hit. Pretty good question, actually. You know, the Cleveland Indians ended his hitting streak, and Ken Keltner made those great plays at third base. The question is the beginning of that hitting streak. Hardy's aboard with a single. 7 Baltimore hits. And here's Brian Roberts, who bunted his way on with 1 out to start the 2-run third. And the curveball on the first pitch, and he takes it for a strike.
Trying to get ahead of the lefty. You see Brian Roberts again, not up there looking for that pitch. He took that the moment it left the hand.
And a strike call again. 0-2. Away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Second start of the year for Sonnenstein. His 8th appearance overall. And a move to first. Backhand goes Hardy. Roberts waiting, and again a move to first, and Hardy's back in easily. Ground ball, shortstop. Elliott Johnson will have to throw this one to first, and that retires the side. 3 assists in the inning for Elliott Johnson after hitting his first big league home run. Bottom half of the 4th coming. 3-1 Baltimore. In 1941, Joe DiMaggio began that 56-game hitting streak. Who gave up the first hit to DiMaggio to begin the streak? And that was Eddie Smith of the Chicago White Sox. On this date in 1941, the streak lasted through the 16th of July. 56 games, 91 hits, and he had 409 for the life of that streak. Evan Longoria takes a strike. 2-2.
See that good slider there by Arrieta, upper 80s. After the curveball, sweeps right across the plate.
Foul ball, fastball. Count still 2 strikes.
And that almost looked like a little bit of a cut fastball. Didn't have that straight four-seam action on it. The ball moved a little bit away from Evan.
A little bit wide right there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's high, 2-2. Arrieta just 25 years old. He was drafted by the Reds originally and decided to go to junior college instead. It's a pop foul backing out of play. In fact, he went to junior college in Weatherford, Texas, where his teammate Zach Britton is from, and then wound up later going to Texas Christian University and was drafted by the Orioles out of college. I'll tell you, with Britton and Arrieta,
yeah,
2 very good young pitchers.
Righty lefty.
It's fouled. Count holds at 2-2. Yeah, it's not a day in the park here facing either one of those guys. And Evan takes it low. The count is full.
Well, since that bat has moved on for Evan Longoria, he's seems to be recognizing pitches much better, laying off that curveball, a couple of close sliders. He's seen them all.
And strike 3 call. How about that? 3-2 with a breaking ball.
How about this? He's throwing the curveball mid-70s. The slider has been in the upper 80s. And then how about that? Just drop it like almost a slurve. Hadn't seen that one. We hadn't seen that one. Just a little bit of a bigger break on the slider, taking some speed off of it, throwing it on a full count. That shows you how he feels about his stuff today.
There's a pitch taken by Matt Joyce for a ball. Yeah, that pitch tracked at 80 miles per hour. His curveball average is 78 plus. And he'll throw that normal slider. I think there was one earlier that was 89 or 90.
Yeah, he's in the upper 80s with the slider. You could take that slider grip and either subtract from that to get that action or really jump on a curveball. But that was more of a slurve and it was harder.
There's a base hit line the other way for Joyce. Scott will make the pickup. Joyce collects his first hit. So it's been a great stretch here for Matt Joyce. Speaking of great stretches, besides Joe DiMaggio, Wee Willie Keeler, that 45-game hit streak. Pete Rose, Cobb 40. Paul Wallander with 39. That shows you how difficult it is. There's some great hitters on that list. And great hitters who never came close to 40. I mean, that's... You put a 20-game hitting streak together, that's pretty good. And when you think of DiMaggio collecting 91 hits for the life of that streak in 2 months. 1-0 the count to B.J. Upton. Blocked by Wieters, 2-0. The Rays trying to break out of really a run drought at home, averaging under 3 runs a game here at Tropicana Field. 1 run so far as they hit in the bottom of the 4th of this one. DJ bounces one foul, 2-1. As Todd pointed out on the pregame, the Rays to this point have gone this deep into the season, 21 home games, and not scored more than 5 in a game. It's been since 1908 since that occurred. Over to first, and Joyce is back in. The Brooklyn Superbas. The question was, what was a Superba? In the 1890s. They were that for about 10 years before they became the Dodgers. A little tap down to third. Reynolds will take it to first to Lee. And Joyce moves up to second. And as it turns out, the Superbas, it was an entertainment spectacle in the 1890s in Brooklyn, and they decided to name the team after it. It'd almost be like naming a team. Modern day, it would be like the Tampa Bay reality shows or something like that. And they were the Superbas for about 10 years.
The St. Louis soap operas.
That's it. Yeah.
There you go.
It became the Dodgers after that.
So the goofy names just didn't stop with the players.
Casey Kochman. The pitch is low. When Todd mentioned that, I did a little. They called it a strike. It went around there. So it's one strike. Went around on that pitch that Kochman thought he checked on, and suddenly there's a strike on the board. Liner into left. That's going to drop for a base hit. Here comes Joyce in to score. Kochman comes through to drive in the run, and now it's 3-2. Well, the Rays make it a one-run ball game as Kochman drives in Matt Joyce from second base.
Now just keep chipping away. 2-out hit. It's just a ball that Arrieta missed his spot. Casey Kochman goes down and gets it, flips it into left field. And they get it down to 1. I'm telling you, those 2 runs that the Orioles had an opportunity to make this a 5-0 game going into the bottom of the third.
Now here's Elliott Johnson, who got the scoring started for the Rays with a home run. That's a little tap. Arrieta's throw to first. Made it close, but he's out over there to retire the side. Rays get a run through 4. It's 3-2 Baltimore.
Guys from Dixie Hollins, you guys can all wave. The major League Dixie Holland's baseball team, and they are the Phillies. So, guys, congratulations, and watch those hot dogs. I might make sure you don't take any of those. We are down in the bullpen as we get some action here with Cesar Ramos. Guys, we talked with Jim Hickey. You may have heard it in the pregame show. He said 90 pitches was about the limit with Sonnenstein, and there's not a true long man in the bullpen, but Joe Madden said he doesn't feel too concerned about that because he has guys like Ramos, Rob Delaney, who's up last inning, also Adam Russell and Brandon Gomes, who can go a couple of innings each. He feels like he can mix and match with those guys as opposed to having one guy like Andy Sonnenstein, who took it 5 1/3 in that game in Chicago. That was the game right before the Rays went on their recent 22-8 run. Back to you guys.
All right, the first pitch to Nick Markakis is a strike, so that pushes the pitch count to 70 for Sonnenstein today. Count now 1-1.
I'll tell you what it sets up well for the Rays also is the fact that tomorrow night you got David Price and then James Shields, your two horses that have been eating up innings. You expect them to do their thing. You won't need the bullpen.
Sharply hit, that ball just foul. The count is 1-2.
So this sets up nicely. If you're going to have Andy Sonnenstein start a ball game for you, and you're going to have to use the bullpen because of the limited pitches that he's going to be afforded, then do it the day before Price and Shields take over.
The pitch is fouled back, and as Todd mentioned, the Rays do have some action in the bullpen. Cesar Ramos throwing down there, and his background is such that he can give you more than just a partial inning or an inning. He could give you at least 2 and maybe 3. You can stretch him. There's a lot of starting experience in his background. This 1-2 pitch is hit deep and out of here to right field, and it's a 2-run game again. Markakis hits his 4th home run. So it's 4-2 Baltimore.
Elevated cutter. Wants to backdoor it. Ball cuts right across the plate, right into the swing of Markakis. Simple as that.
Derek Lee swinging through that one, strike 1. A strike on the outside edge, 0-2. Out on strikes. That's the first out here in the 5th. Well, the Rays down by 2. It's 4-2, and they're going to have to score at least 5 today, and that's been a challenge at home. So maybe today's the day that somehow they break beyond the 5-run barrier at home. There's Guerrero hitting a long fly ball back into center, caught by Upton. He had gone 2 for 3 with a couple doubles. Just a reminder to be on the lookout for the Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment coming up later in the game today. Make sure we get the full effect. There's Luke Scott. And the breaking ball drops in for strike 1. Scott's line to center and then a fly ball to right. Checks on that one. It's 1-1. Two and 1. And Scott checked again. That takes the count to 3 balls and a strike. Two pitches for Sonnenstein. 2 outs into the 5th. Scott fouls it back on a play to run it full. Orioles scored a run in the 2nd, 2 runs in the 3rd. Rays got a run in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, and the Orioles have 1 here in the 5th inning on the home run by Markakis. Three-2, lifted into left. Bold will have to go back and is there to make the catch to retire the side. We go to the bottom half of inning 5, 4-2 Baltimore. In the 2nd on the base hit by Wieters scoring Guerrero. Derek Lee singled home 2 more with Robertson Markakis scoring to make it 3-0 before Elliott Johnson connected in the bottom half of the 3rd, leading off with his first big league home run. Casey Konchman's 4th inning single scored Matt Joyce to make it 3-2. And in the 5th, the leadoff home run by Nick Markakis, again giving Baltimore a 2-run advantage. So we move into the home half of the 5th with Kelly Shopping leading it off, and the Rays are down 4-2. Shopping looks at a strike. Toronto has a 7-0 lead in the bottom of the 3rd at Minnesota. Bautista's hit his 14th home run of the year in that game. 2 strikes with that foul ball. Top of the order, Fold and Zobrist will be next. Jake Arrieta is 25 years old. Shopping strikes out, reaching for the slider.
Well, that was a sweeper. That one really took off. This ball ends up being nowhere near the strike zone. Watch for this. I mean, just gone. Not a bat long enough to reach that one.
Here's Fold. Sam is struck out. Fly ball to center. Shortens on the bat and takes the strike. Rob Delaney is up in the bullpen for the Rays. One and one. Markakis cutting toward the line makes the grab. 2 outs with the bases empty. Time to look at the upcoming race schedule, brought to you by Just for Men Hair Color. Yankees in for 2 starting tomorrow night. A couple of 6:40 first pitches tomorrow and Tuesday, and then the Rays hit the road. As we look forward to the upcoming race schedule, you can look forward with Just for Men Hair Color. Ben Zobrist walked his last time up, struck out in the first. Arrieta starts him with a pitch away. Two and 0. It's 3-0 the count. Arrieta's delivery taken for a strike. Ground ball down to first. Lee with the pickup, stepping on the bag, and it's a 1-2-3 fifth. On to inning 6, 4-2 Baltimore.
Orioles lead the Rays 4-2 as we head into the 6th inning. We'll fly through Tropicana Field on Sunday, May the 29th. And the first 10,000 kids 14 and under get a Super Sam Fold superhero cape. Visit RaysBaseball.com to get your tickets today.
And as we go to the 6th, Andy Sonnenstein departs in favor of Rob Delaney. 5 innings for Andy. 4 runs, 8 hits, a home run, a couple of strikeouts, no walks, 84 pitches. And Adam Jones, the first man to face Delaney, and that pitch is in there for a strike. Rob Delaney at Durham made a dozen appearances there, was 1-0 with a 1.5 earned run average. This is his 3rd outing since coming to the Rays. It's 1-1. It's the scoreless 9th inning Wednesday against the Indians in Cleveland. Foul out of play. 1-2. He made his major league debut with the Twins. Got into one game last year and Spent pretty much all the season at Rochester. Tap foul. Four-2 ball game. Rays trail. They've been out hit 8-4. Pitch is down. 2-2. Delaney picked up a strikeout, gave up a walk in the scoreless inning he worked against Cleveland. He's going to run the count full here on the leadoff hitter in the inning, Adam Jones. And ball 4 is outside. So a leadoff walk.
Well, the first walk of the day for the Rays. Talked about Sonnenstein had 5 in his last start, none today, and then the leadoff man here in the 6th aboard via the free pass, something you don't want to do being down in the game.
There's Matt Wieters. Runner takes off and the pitch down and in, skipping past Shopping. So Jones was breaking. He'll get a stolen base on that as a result of the break.
Well, how about this? Rob Delaney misses his spot by about 4 or 5 feet. I mean, Kelly Shopping had no chance at that pitch. That is a fastball meant to go down and away that almost threw it into the Rays dugout.
Now they'll walk Wieters intentionally with a man at second and first base open. And that the first intentional ball outside to run the count to ball 2 is not exactly under control.
And neither was that one. Right now, he's having a hard time getting it to the plate.
So a leadoff walk, and then the intentional walk after the steal. 2 men on, and Mark Reynolds is due to hit. Jim Hickey's going to go to the mound, and Cesar Ramos is going to get up again in the bullpen. Cesar Ramos throwing in the bullpen. Today's game brought to you in part by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Visit geico.com today. Well, the Rays in a little bit of a spot here. You want to be careful. Already trailing by 2. Turned out to be academic yesterday because of the shutout, but the Orioles did a pretty good job in the middle part of the game, and then in the 7th and 8th of adding runs. So they won 6-0. So here's Reynolds, and Delaney ready to go to work. He misses outside. 1 ball, no strikes. One and one. Fouled the fastball back. Rays have trailed throughout the day, and they're trying to keep the Orioles in check in the 6th inning. That one missed wide.
Oh, and you see, well, Rob Delaney's he's a crossfire. He's stepping towards basically the third base dugout. Instead of driving that front foot, that front leg directly towards home plate, he's stepping towards the third base side and then throwing back across his body. And boy, if you're not on, you start yanking pitches, and we've seen him do that.
There's a long drive down the left field line, and that ball is foul. Well, and that's one of the things you fear with the power hitter up there, is a pitcher trying to find himself out there.
Yeah, well, you see right here, instead of that driving, look where he steps. And then throwing all the way back across. That's the crossfire. It creates good deception if you're able to spot up your pitches. But the danger in working that way is you can start yanking pitches and lose command, and you have no idea where the ball's going.
And again, one wide. So the count is full.
I mean, where he's landing and then throwing back across his body to get the ball that far outside. In fact, the one that he tried to go down and away to the lefty, to Wieters, he yanked that ball, yeah, almost behind him. That's the risk.
3-2. And another long one. That's foul. So he tries to bring that fastball into the strike zone, and sometimes you put it into the powder zone.
Yeah, and this guy he's got some juice. Saw the home run yesterday to right center field. He's got power to all fields. He'll strike out for you, but right now he's dialed on that ball in the zone. You got to get him to chase.
– 3-2, and he walks him, and the bases are going to be loaded. That pushes Jones to third. Wieters up to second base. Reynolds draws the walk. Here's that pitch. You know, that's the problem. That's a strike, but because you're missing so far, you're just probably not going to get that call. That was too bad. So the Rays are going to make a pitching change. A call to the bullpen, brought to you by Metro PCS.
Be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Difficult spot here. The left-hander Cesar Ramos enters the game with the bases loaded and nobody out. J.J. Hardy is the hitter for Baltimore. The pitch is down. 16th appearance for Ramos. This one down and in. Scooped up there by Shopping. 2-0. Hasn't been an easy inning for Shopping behind the plate either, corralling some of these pitches.
Getting a workout.
The shot deep down the left field line, and that ball is going to stay fair, and it's out of here. A grand slam home run for J.J. Hardy. Hardy has just belted one out. Jones, Wieters, and Reynolds score in front of him as J.J. Hardy hits his second home run of the year. And now it's 8-2.
Well, that's another pitch from the Rays bullpen that was yanked. We saw Rob Delaney yank a couple across the plate. That was a fastball meant to be down in a way that Cesar Ramos yanked across the plate, down in middle of the plate, down, working its way in, and J.J. Hardy just dropped the head on it. Talked about his power. He's got a couple years of mid-20s in the home run department.
And the third career grand slam by Hardy. While the first pitch is a strike to Roberts. Well, they walked the bases loaded, and then Hardy lowered the boom with a home run down the left field line. 1-1 the count.
Now you walk a guy, walk a leadoff hitter, you see how often they come around to score. You walk the first three, just asking for trouble. One mistake and this game gets blown open.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. Off the front of the Rays dugout. Well, the Rays had battled to try to stay close, and at one point were down just 3-2. But the home run ball prominent for the Orioles the last two innings. Markakis hit a solo homer in the fifth, and Hardy has hit a grand slam in the sixth. Roberts is out on strikes. That's the first out of the inning. So three of those runs charged to Rob Delaney. Gave up 3 walks, 1 intentional, and 3 runs. And now Nick Markakis. Markakis also has a double to go with the home run he hit in the fifth. The pitch is a strike. Two. Ramos. This is wide. It's 1-2. Tap hits the mound and deflects to shortstop for Elliott Johnson. 2 outs. Now Derek Lee singled in, 2 runs in the third. A ball, no strikes. Well, if the Rays are going to make a run in this game, they're going to have to really break out of that 5-run run cap they have going at home. That's a strike. It's 1-1. Fly ball the other way into right, and Matt Joyce is there. So the grand slam home run in the top half of the sixth adds 4 for Baltimore, and the Orioles lead 8-2.
Cage Rage from Winter Haven, Florida. You guys were the champions, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations. We also have a group from Avon Park back here. So more Little League teams out here in the left field, outfield seats. And don't forget, guys, Inside the Rays, Joe Madden will premiere after our game tonight. Rays Live, the post-game show. You can catch all the latest on the skipper and his work up in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. Some behind-the-scenes deals as well. That'll be after our Rays Live post-game show. Inside the Rays, Joe Madden. Everybody can wave goodbye, and back to Dwayne and BA, gentlemen.
All right, thank you very much. You're a great company out there, keeping company with the champs. There they are. How about that, huh? They look like champions. Johnny Damon leading off the bottom of the sixth. He lifts a high fly ball foul down the right side, and that's going to be out of play. Rays and the Orioles concluding this series, and they'll take on the Yankees starting tomorrow night. It's going to be David Price and James Shields, A.J. Burnett, and Ivan Nova on the hill Tuesday. We'll be with you at 6 o'clock both nights for that 6:40 first pitch. Some good pitching in store.
That's nice going into that 2-game set with the Yankees with your 1 and 2 going out on the mound. Price and Shields, first time you've seen him.
Damon breaks his bat and fouls this one out of play, and the count is still 2-2. Well, the Yankees are hosting the Red Sox tonight, and they'll be in for that opening of the 2-game set tomorrow. And there's the big story in New York right now. Jorge Posada, I guess, had some issues with hitting ninth, and that story is still a continuing story in New York. And you know what that's like when it becomes the focus of media attention.
Well, think about it. You're going to go into the manager's office an hour before a nationally televised game against your most hated rival and ask out of the lineup in New York. You don't think that's going to blow up like it has?
And there was a question about whether Posada felt embarrassed, disrespected. He had a strained back.
Okay.
You know, all kinds of things going there.
Hurt feelings.
Yeah. And so it's a story and an issue that they will address in their own way.
Well,
1 ball, no strikes. The fact that he's hitting 160 You know, there's some question as to whether he took himself out, if that's insubordination, and whether he then actually would forfeit his contractual status because of that. Well, that's one of the questions being bandied about.
Absolutely. I mean, Brian Cashman has not been, you know, he's not an aggressive general manager as far as coming out and really throwing guys under the bus or being, you know, controversial like that. Certainly he has his opinions, but they're pretty measured most of the time.
Foul ball out of play, although he was part of that media mix-up, though, with Jeter and with Torrey at the end and some of those.
Yeah, but
in his own way.
In his own way. And he comes out yesterday and said unequivocally, this is not injury related. Now, you can't imagine him going out and just bald-faced lying like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, in that kind of a situation, and then all of a sudden, is it a back issue? That kind of pops up.
A little tap foul. The count is 1-2. You can't help but think that part of the bottom line and how they're going to handle this. For example, would they pursue the idea that the contract had been violated and essentially negated by the insubordination? Now that's an interesting route to travel down.
I can't imagine it getting that far.
The pitch is down 2-2.
Depending on how badly they want out of that contract.
Well, that's the key, see, and he's hitting 160. So do they think he can hit someday 260 again, or do they think 160's it? And that will factor in the decision. Tap foul. So the count is still 2 balls, 2 strikes to Longoria, but it's, you know, a lot of money. I mean, both sides, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Naaman over at first with nobody out. A foul ball, so that's the buzz in New York, and I'm sure it'll still be the buzz when the Yankees and their media following descend upon Tropicana Field here tomorrow night.
And they don't play until later tonight, so you know that there are people scurrying everywhere to find out exactly what's going on, what's the truth, what's not the truth, how it went down.
And Longoria did offer at that pitch, and he is out on strikes trying to check his swing. First out here in the 6th inning for the Rays.
Right here, the slider down and away off the plate. Evan knows it, committed. Can't hold up.
What I understand that in the aftermath of all that he went in and was in the lineup and then was not, took himself out apparently, and then Brian Cashman made a statement during the game about that, and then I guess Jorge Posada took some issue with that as to why he would make the statement then.
Yeah, there's so much of the story that you don't know. I mean, you would certainly, like to not have your general manager come out during the game to make that kind of a statement, but you just don't know the whole story, what is going on behind the scenes. You know, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, and you figure with the writers and the media coverage in New York, they will end up getting to the bottom of it somehow.
2 balls and a strike. And so there was an issue where with Posada not hitting and being the DH, essentially a new role, not working out all that well, and I think he tried to deflect some of the attention by saying, well, I needed a mental day, a day off just to regroup, and you know, everybody, that could be a legitimate reason if with proper notice.
I was going to say, not at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Not at 6 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. If that's indeed how it went down, that's something that you come to the ballpark that day and go and say, hey, Skip, my brain's fried.
Yeah.
You might want to give me a day. I understand that.
Yeah. Ball 4, Joyce walks. The Rays have a couple men on here in the 6th inning. And so I guess the some of the options would be to dock Posada a couple days pay if they wanted to be hard line and say it's insubordination. You know, they could pursue a more radical route in regard to whether he violated the contract. Mark Connor out there on the mound now, the pitching coach, with these 2 walks. And so we'll see how that unveils. Of course, it'll be the national spotlight tonight with their game at Yankee Stadium. It's Jim Johnson in the bullpen now. So B.J. Upton's going to be the hitter. Hey, a long one here, and it's a brand new ball game. It's only the bottom of the 6th. And a big cut and a miss by Upton on the breaking pitch, strike 1. Fly ball into right. Marquez is trying to close, and he makes the catch for the out, and back Damon goes to second and Joyce to first. So 2 gone here in the 6th. Well, I guess right now the bottom line of that New York situation, they're going to have to figure out how they feel about that entire episode, and so there will be some raw feelings that they'll have to deal with and then proceed from there, I guess. So we'll see how it turns out.
Starting tomorrow.
It's Casey Kochman. Pitch is a strike. Todd Callis has promised that when the Yankees get here, he will be right on that story. So we'll get all of the insights from Todd tomorrow. I've been informed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Damon at second, Joyce at first. This is the 100th pitch coming for the Baltimore right-hander. And it's a strike. He has the advantage in the count, 1-2. Arrieta working here in the 6th. Couple of walks. And now the 1-2. Squares the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes. And it's over but low.
I think he just struck out Darryl Cousins. Boy, that looked like a good pitch, and Cousins flinched. Here's the pitch. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Well, we've seen a couple of those today.
He does nothing but call strikes.
3-2, and he's out on strikes this time. Kochman is out to retire the side. Rays leave 2 through 6, 8-2 Baltimore.
Rays Sundays is brought to you by Hyundai.
On to the 7th we go. 8-2. Baltimore leading the Rays. Brandon Gomes will be the new pitcher. And he faces Vladimir Guerrero. It's been Sonnenstein, Delaney, Ramos, and now Gomes.
Gomes on for the 6th time. No record, 1.80 earned run average.
Pitched an inning and a third in the game yesterday. One and one. Guerrero lifts a pop-up short right. Zobrist out from his second base position. It's the first out here in the top half of the 7th. Well, the team wore Navy SEALs t-shirts on their last road trip. The reaction was very strong, and the Rays then compelled to share it with you. So now, by popular demand, Tuesday, when the Rays take on the Yankees, the first 10,000 fans wearing Rays gear or with a valid military ID will get this Navy SEALs shirt in honor of our nation's heroes. Luke Scott pops it toward the line and left, and high enough for Sam Fole to get over there and make a routine play on it. 2 up, 2 down in the 7th inning against Gomes.
And 2 quick outs. Brandon Gomes coming in out of the bullpen. He comes from that low 3/4, almost sidearm arm angle. Try to create deception, get more movement on his pitches. He's done a nice job. You watch him pitch, and he's got a good idea of what he's doing. Looks like he can really help out the bullpen, what he brings to the table. And just a different style of a pitcher, too. You like to have the different guys down in the pen. You come out with the, Ramos, the lefty. Got Adam Russell, the big, tall, driving the fastball. Peralta, Juan Cruz with the plus stuff and the way that he can make the ball break. And then Brandon Gomes coming from that funky arm angle. A lot of different styles out there for the Rays in their pen.
A ball, no strikes to Adam Jones. 1-1. Yeah, that's an important part of building a bullpen.
It really is, because you don't want to have a bunch of robots come in that all throw from the same arm angle and feature the same kind of pitches at the same speeds. You want to be able to have some options, give them different looks.
And a foul ball, so it's 1-2. Well, the Rays trying to hold the Orioles and take advantage of the 3 shots they have left. Right now, down 8-2. Last time the Rays scored more than 5 runs at the Trop was last September 25th when they beat the Mariners 9-5. And strike 3 called to retire the side. Nice break on that one. Bottom of the 7th coming, 8-2 Baltimore. Good Sunday at the ballpark here. 8-2. Elliott Johnson has his first career home run under his belt. J.J. Hardy with a grand slam home run for Baltimore. And the Orioles make some defensive changes. That is not one of them. Jim Johnson will take over on the mound. 6 innings for Arrieta. He gives way to Johnson. Felix P.A. is going to take over in left. Meanwhile, the 17th appearance for Johnson, 2-1 on the year.
Well, the Rays with 3 at-bats left. It's going to be the Baltimore bullpen that's going to have to shut them down.
Well, it will be Elliott Johnson, the first man to face Jim Johnson. Saw PA in left field replacing Scott defensively. Elliott takes the first pitch from Johnson. The fastball for a strike. Elliott 1 for 2. The pitch is wide. 1 ball and 1 strike. 6 innings for the Baltimore starter. 4 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He walked 3 and struck out 7. Surrendered the home run to Johnson. .103 pitches for Arrieta. The tap left side. Hardy with a pickup and throw, and he is safe at first base. Elliott Johnson beats it out, an infield hit.
Well, he could smell hit right out of the batter's box. He swung out there, tapped that ball, and really exploded out of the box as best he could. Knowing that was going to be a tough play. Look at him go. He knows it. Smelling hit all the way. He did all of that hustle. Beat it out by a hair.
That's the way you play the game. That's the way you run down the line.
Joe Madden will tell you that's the Rays way that they try to formulate around here
most of the time.
Here's Kelly Shopping. Pitch is fouled back and out of play. Well, Johnson has spent enough time in the minor leagues that he appreciates getting here.
Yes.
Number 1. And you know there's more of that in the Rays system, and that's by design. We talked a little bit about that in regard to Matt Joyce the other night. You know, Matt's been on such a great tear here as a hitter. And the Rays, I think, always felt that he could hit, especially against right-handers. And Joe Madden thinks eventually against lefties as well. But they wanted other things from Joyce and made him earn his way to the big leagues. And that's their idea with all of the prospects that they have in the minor leagues. You're just not going to get here because you've been gifted with talent. You've got to refine that and do the things that will contribute to this club winning. And Elliott Johnson went down, played a lot of shortstop. That really helped to round him out for this kind of a super sub role that he's in. And he hustles all the time. Shopik tried to check and did. It's going to take the count to 2-2. That's pretty close.
That was pretty close. That bat head got a little whippy. That's right on that borderline. He gets the benefit from Jim Joyce. Yeah, and the other thing, Dwayne, too, is you make them earn their way and prove all, at all the different steps. Because when they get here, you'd like for them to stay and not be on that back and forth shuttle.
Yeah.
So have them come up here, having proven themselves over time. They're going to play the game the way you want them to play the game at the big league level. They've proven it. Here they are. Now let's keep them.
Throughout the system, you don't have the idea that, well, I know maybe I should work on this, but I'm not. I can get to the big leagues on my talent.
Right.
No. No, that's not going to be the case.
I just felt like I got called into the principal's office. No, that's not the way we do things here, Brian.
And it's really a great mindset. I mean, when you talk about changing the culture of a team or an organization, you hear that a lot when, you know, a new manager comes in, new front office, all that. But they've really done that. And when you look at the players who've come up here over the last 2 or 3 years, as opposed to maybe players before,
right?
They have really had to battle and earn their way up here, and those are the guys who continue to play hard all the time.
And most of it is unseen. I mean, I firmly believe that to have a top-notch organization, and if they're going to work within the constraints that they have here and put together something special, then it starts at the top and it goes all the way down into your short season rookie ball. There's an organizational philosophy that permeates the entire organization, that every step of the way we do things the same way.
Ground ball. That's going to slip through into left field, and a base hit for Shopping. Elliott Johnson stops at second as Shopping found the hole on the left side of the infield and threaded the needle.
Well, sometimes that's all it takes. You put a good at bat on Jim Johnson here, reaches out, just taps that ball in the hole. Little rollover. Pitcher likes to see that swing, but not when he put it where Kelly Shopping did. Well placed.
So Johnson and Shopping aboard. Here's Sam Fuld. There's a strike. Sam looking for his first hit of the day. Sam pops it back foul. That's out of play. 0-2. Sam fouls it again. Fuld is struck out. And a fly ball to center and line to right. He's trying to keep the ball on the line and on the ground more. One ball, 2 strikes.
Thank you. Looked like a pretty good pitch.
There have been a few of those today.
Yes, there has.
I mean, it's even more difficult to get a called strike. This one down. 2-2. And Darryl Cousins does have the reputation of really making a pitcher throw a strike. And there have been a handful of those pitches today that, according to Fox Track, were good pitches. But he's just not giving it up.
It's the ball that's down in the zone.
Johnson and Wieters with a little get together. Rays tried to put something together and claw their way back into this game. The Mosaic Company and the Rays working together to end hunger through home runs for food. With each Rays home run, Mosaic donates $500 to Feeding America Tampa Bay. So far, $18,500 has been donated. Fuld hits it on the ground right side. They'll go to second to get the force on Shopping, and that's the only one they're going to get. Johnson into third, and Fuld reaches on the 4-6 fielder's choice. Roberts to Hardy for the force on Shopping.
Sam Fuld just chopped that ball into the turf. There was no way you could turn 2. Kelly Shopping running. They elect to nab him at second.
Now Ben Zobrist. Ben's had a good matchup here against Johnson. The pitch outside. Ben with a couple career home runs and 5 of 12 lifetime. So if he could get a hold of one, it would be a new contest. There goes Fold, and the pitch is popped foul back at third. Reynolds angling out. Going to be a difficult play for him, and he will not make it. That angle turned out to be very difficult for him as he got down to the bullpen home plate area. And that means Zobrist will get another shot.
Well, Showalter not real happy. He never looked comfortable going back for that baseball. And then has to reach up behind his head to try to make the catch, and the ball hits right in the palm. But look at it. Never looks comfortable. And there's your end result. New life.
Ben fouls it again. A fastball. 1-2.
Next time, just pretend like you don't see it. Oh, I lost it. Where'd it go? Save yourself that.
Yeah, you're right. You could tell the angle wasn't very good.
No, you're right. The angle was shoddy. The way that the head was twisted all around, you're just like, this is not going to end up well for him.
Up and in. A little extra on that one at 96, and Ben gets out of there. And our checkers doubles list there. Ben Zobrist with 13 two-base hits.
Tied for the major league lead in extra base hits. Also a couple of triples, 8 homers.
Yep. That's why that slugging percentage is 5th best. And a throw to first base. Johnson almost got Fold leaving too soon.
Well, he made the fake to third and then never really got over to get Sam Fold. Sam Fold breaking. Just took too long. Obviously back in plenty of time.
Time granted. Zobrist stepping back.
This game's got a great pace. Everybody's staying in good rhythm.
It's important. The 2-2 and a cut to miss. He's out on strikes. Boy, that fastball up and in, and then this thing.
Yeah, how about this breaker? Down and in, you see Ben try to adjust the swing on the fly. It's just a nasty pitch.
Now it's going to be Johnny Damon. Johnny's 0 for 2. He's drawing a walk. We'll try it again just in case, but you know, you're not going to fool Sam Fold twice.
No. Didn't get the memo.
There he goes. Pitch is down, and the throw is going to be in time. They throw him out. Fold is caught stealing, and that retires the side. So the Rays leave a man. Fold thrown out by Wieters, and it's 8-2 Baltimore. in the 7th inning, and he also went in head first right into the left leg of J.J. Hardy and has a busted lip, it would appear. I think that helmet
good. Yeah, something
got him.
Something got him. Top of the head into the knee, but you turn around, you see this.
So he's going to leave the game. Joe Madden switches a couple defensive positions, and Sean Rodriguez comes in to play second, occupying the spot vacated by Fold in the lineup. Joyce goes to left, and Zobrist moves to right. Matt Wieters out in front of an off-speed pitch. A good changeup right there by Gomes. Strike one. Ground ball. That's going to be backhanded. A diving stop by Sean Rodriguez, but he cannot get rid of it. And Wieters is aboard. That's going to be a base hit. Great stop by Rodriguez, but he could not make the play.
Well, it was a two-part play. One, get there. Two, get up, make the throw. Excellent job on part one, but then as he gets up.
That'll give the Orioles 10 hits in this game. Here's Mark Reynolds. Pitch is a strike. Reynolds 0 for 2 with a walk. Inside, 1-1. Sonnenstein for 5. He gave up 4 runs. Delaney faced 3 men, gave up 3 runs, didn't get anybody out. Ramos worked 1 inning, gave up 1 run, and Gomes worked a scoreless 7. This misses a little wide to Reynolds, and it's a 2-1 count. And that's Michael Gonzalez up in the bullpen. Under it, pops it into shallow left. Elliott Johnson angling out. He's got it. That's the first out in the 8th inning. And we will check in with Todd Callis.
Dwayne, time to check in on.
Well, that's the only thing that can stop Todd Callis is a broken microphone.
Well, it's the pace of the game has worn out the battery in his microphone. He's done. It's had enough.
Here's J.J. Hardy. Pitch is a strike. I mean, who knows what we missed in that report?
Well, you know it was good.
Yeah, they're always highly informative and yet entertaining. The 0-1 is lifted back into right field. Zobrist backing up to make the catch. 2 gone. Well, part of what we were going to get from Todd Callis, I think, had to do with today's text poll. Brought to you by Autoway. Who is the best team in the American League right now? 1 the Indians, 2 the Rays, 3 the Angels, 4 the Tigers, or 5 the Yankees. Text your vote to 789-789. Standard message and data rates apply. Well,
I know who's going to win that poll with confidence.
Just because of numbers?
Yeah, slightly. And because, well, let's say the Indians, they've just taken 2 out of 3. Down the list. Yankees will find out tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Strike the count. 1-1. just
and who would have
one
thought?
of those days when things just don't sync up.
No. Who would have thought after a 1-8 start, losing every game on the first homestand, that you'd be sitting today?
Yeah,
the 2-game lead in the AL East.
That's right.
No chance.
2-1. Well, you're right about that. There's Adam Russell down in the bullpen. Well, that doesn't happen in the history of baseball very often. In fact, the Rays just one of 4 teams in Major League history to start a season 0-6 and then reach first place in that season.
Yeah, let alone as quickly as the Rays did. They're now holding a couple of game lead. That's incredible.
Yep. So there have been 4 teams now, 3 prior. The Pirates in '74, the Mariners in '91, and the Reds in '95. And the Pirates and the Reds in their respective seasons advanced to the postseason. With a base hit. Roberts has his second hit today. Wieters stops at second. 2 men on with 2 men out. And Nick Markakis will bat. But at some point, the Rays are going to have to score more than 5 runs in a game at home.
If they want to win here,
yeah,
you're absolutely right.
You know, we mentioned that earlier. The last time that happened this deep into a home schedule was the 1908 Brooklyn Superbas. And I went looking at the Superbas before they became the Dodgers. For about a handful of years they were the Superbas, and went looking to see if there might have been an Anderson in one of those clubs. You'll be happy to know that that 08 team, the 1908 team, that was not a very good team. They got their manager fired. They lost over 100 games back then, but no Anderson's part of that team. And I didn't really, when I found out what their record was, there couldn't be an Anderson on this team.
Oh, yes, there could be. Let me tell you about a couple of those teams I've played on.
Line drive, and that's a base hit into right. Zobrist makes the pickup. Wieters will stop at third, and the bases are going to be loaded. I did, however, find an Anderson on a couple of their very good teams. Their 1899 team was very good, and there was a guy named John Anderson who was an outfielder on that team with the nickname of Honest John.
Do you have any background on that
Honest
nickname?
John Anderson. No, but I do have later in his career, he was a base stealer. He played for the St. Louis Browns in, I think, 1903, and he tried to steal second, only to find that second was already occupied.
So he told on himself?
Well, there you are, yeah. And for the next few years in baseball, they referred to that as the John Anderson play. If you try to steal second and it's already occupied, that's the John Anderson trick.
There you go.
But he had some good years with the Superbas when they were very good around the turn of the century. So we have John Anderson, Honest John, and Goat Anderson on your family tree. Foul ball.
Maybe John Anderson was a big fan of the former president, Abraham Lincoln.
Well, there you are.
I don't know.
He could have been. That would have made sense with the moniker that was hung on him, the cognomen, if you will.
I will.
0-2. This one is outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bases loaded with 2 outs in the 8th. And it's popped up. It's Elliott Johnson waiting for this one to come down. That retires the side, and the Orioles leave the bases loaded. Bottom of the 8th coming, 8-2. local Southern Ford dealers. Sunday afternoon here in Tampa Bay. Rays and the Orioles wrapping up their 3-game series. Michael Gonzalez is the new pitcher for Baltimore, with Johnny Damon leading off the bottom of the 8th. The first pitch is high, and Gonzalez does not necessarily give you the delivery that you would aspire to teach. There's a strike. It's 1-1.
I think there's medication for that.
Ground ball, right side. Lee will make the play unassisted. 1 away.
Well, for all the latest news, in-depth investigative reporting, and sports coverage, sign up for the St. Petersburg Times. For home delivery, call 877-THE-TIMES. Yeah, he does give you quite the look. Kind of sets himself off center on the rubber. Couple of rock back and forth, and then he comes, almost gives you that Mitch Williams finish, too. He really throws himself off toward the third base side. That could become a dance craze in the Baltimore area.
Here's Longoria. And there's a strike. Some hitters give you that helicopter finish. Well, he helicopters his entire body with that finish.
A lot going on there. I mean, if you're a pitching coach, how do you tweak those mechanics?
How do you break that down?
Yeah, right. You know, on your 4th rock, I think you were a little bit off balance. Really coming apart there.
One and 2 the count. Here's that look. Mark Connor's got a little bit of that rock going with him, his pitching coach.
Hey, it's like he goes to battle with you.
Yeah, look at that. Mark just back with the club. His son graduated from law school, and so he was away for a day or two.
That's how you know you're starting to get old. His son graduating from law school. He was my pitching coach in Arizona, 1998, 1999, and 2000, and his son was running around the field.
Yeah, 2 and 2. And I'll top you on that, because in the early 90s, I was running into Mark Connor with the Yankees up there.
Yes, yes. Tremendous pitching coach.
Swing and a miss. And Longoria is out on strikes for the 3rd time today. 2 outs.
Well, if Rays pitchers strike out 10 batters in a home game, take your ticket stub to any Cane's Furniture store and get a coupon for a free Papa John's pizza. Plus, sign up at Cane's Furniture for a chance to meet one of your favorite Rays players. Cane's, quality's so good, it's guaranteed for life. Even leather captain's chairs.
Matt Joyce taking the pitch for a strike.
All of it.
The 0-1 upstairs, 1-1. Shot down the right side, and that ball is going to stay fair. And Matt Joyce has just connected against the left-hander. Matt's 6th home run of the year, his 2nd hit today, and that makes it 8-3. Well, he'd like to see more left-handers, and a bat like that won't hurt him.
Now that was a spinner. That sideways spin, a slider that just didn't slide. That ball stayed flat, elevated up out over the plate. Matt Joyce put a hurting on it.
Rays hit their 2nd home run of the day. And so here's B.J. Upton. One strike the count to Upton. Hardy makes the play, and that retires the side. The Rays going to run on the Joyce home run. We go to the ninth, 8-3.
Is brought to you by Hyundai.
We move into the ninth inning. Rays are down 8-3. Adam Russell, the new pitcher, and a wave and a miss by Guerrero. So this is pitcher number 5 for the Rays. Sonnenstein, Delaney, Ramos, and Gomes. Ground ball shortstop. Elliott Johnson with the pickup. That's one away.
Well, Saturday, May the 28th, the UEFA Champions League final comes to Fox with a rematch of the 2009 final as Barcelona looks for their 3rd championship in 6 years, while Manchester United looks to avenge their 2009 defeat and claim their 2nd title in 4 years. Fox Sports exclusive coverage of the UEFA Champions League final begins Saturday, May the 28th at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific in high definition.
Hey, do you think you couldn't hit home runs in the ballpark of Minnesota? Bautista's hit 3 today for the Blue Jays.
I mean, that guy.
14, 15, and 16, and the Blue Jays lead 11-3 in the bottom of the 7th inning.
Unbelievable. Just continues to rip the baseball.
Yep. Felix PA up here. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. First at bat for PA since taking over in left field in the 7th inning. There are the numbers on Adam Russell. 2-1. It's a strike. 2-2. And a little humpback liner there to the shortstop. Johnson makes the catch. 2 gone. We have more information on Honest John Anderson, who debuted actually before the Superbas were the Superbas. They were the Bridegrooms.
No, they weren't.
They were.
No.
The Brooklyn Bridegrooms.
No.
The predecessors to the Brooklyn Dodgers. He debuted with them in 1894. and he was traded to the New York Highlanders in 1903 for Peach Pie O'Connor.
Come on. You just, I mean, this has become an absolute debacle. What was his name again?
Honest John Anderson.
Yeah, but Peach Cobbler Jones or
traded
something?
for Peach Pie O'Connor.
Pie O'Connor. Give me a break.
Yeah. And you thought Buttercup was out there.
Wow.
Peach Pie. Peach Pie O'Connor. And I think that was a deal that helped both teams. The best kind of trade. There's a base hit through the left side. And Jones is on base with his first hit. Here's the other thing. He had 1,841 hits, and that's the most for any player born in Norway. He was from Norway.
He was a Viking.
There you are. Just like you.
Without the size.
Matt Wieters. See, you're learning more about your family tree and your baseball forefathers than you ever wanted to know.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good.
It's a strike to Wieters. It's not everybody who's been traded for Peach Pie.
I got traded for a slice of key lime once.
Was that a professional move or a personal move? Oh my. 1-1 to count. Honest John and Goat. Those are two of my favorite players from now on in the history of baseball. The Anderson boys. Honest John and Goat. Into the dirt. 2-1 to count. I feel a project coming on for you. I can't wait. It'll come later in the season. That'll be a surprise for us all. Base hit into right center field, cut off by Zobrist. Jones goes to third. Wieters has another hit. That's 3 on the day. He's been on base 4 times. So with 2 outs, Jones is at third and Wieters at first, and Russell will face Mark Reynolds.
Adam Russell with an elevated fastball, and Matt Wieters just a simple short swing. Gets it out of the reach of Rodriguez.
Mark Reynolds swings through it. That's a strike. Sonnenstein for 5, gave up 4. Delaney gave up 3, and Ramos 1. 2 scoreless innings for Gomes. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now it's a 2-1 count. And a base hit into center. Here comes Jones in to score. Up to second goes Wieters. And Reynolds drives in a run. So the Orioles have 9 runs and lead 9-3.
Well, what started off as a nice clean inning for Adam Russell deteriorated here with the Orioles. 3rd straight hit. A fastball just catches the middle of the plate. Then Mark Reynolds lines it out into center field.
Now J.J. Hardy. And the first pitch strike. A fastball from Russell. And a popper on the right side. Out from second, Sean Rodriguez. A run, 3 hits, 2 left. Bottom of the ninth coming, 9-3. Join the movement. Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. When cancer strikes, strike back with CyberKnife and Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. And by AutoWay, part of Auto Nation, the largest automotive retailer in the country, so we can do big things. Casey Kochman to open the bottom of the ninth against Clay Rapata, the lefty. Pitch is outside. Rapata, the 4th pitcher of the day for Baltimore in what has turned out to be an Orioles afternoon. That's a strike, 1-1. So Rapata on here for the 9th time. Two balls and a strike. There's a strike. 2-2. There's a base hit the other way by Kochman off the left-hander Rapata. And so the Rays have their leadoff man on. Second hit today for Kochman. Let's take a look at today's Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment. And for that, we go back to the 3rd inning when Elliott Johnson connected for his first big league home run. The first run of the afternoon for the Rays. Our Miller Lite Taste Greatness moment. We're going to have a pitching change here. Rapata on to face only Kochman. Back in a moment. Koji Uehara is the new pitcher for the Orioles. Elliott Johnson was out after that first pitch, a fastball up and missed it, strike one. So this is pitcher number 5 for the Orioles. And a tap that's going to be foul. 0-2. By the way, more information on John Anderson, Honest John, the baseball predecessor to my distinguished partner Brian Anderson. Apparently more nicknames than just Honest John. Long John, Swedish Apollo, although he was born in Norway, his mother apparently was Swedish, and so he was referred to as the Swedish Apollo. And he rarely beefed to umpires, we understand. Honest John Anderson.
Well, I know nobody up here has that good of an imagination, so that has to be true.
It is, because you couldn't make up this stuff.
Right.
This is great stuff. Yep. And he was a police officer, I think, after his playing days in Massachusetts. Ground ball headed to Roberts. To Hardy for the force there on Kochman. So it's a fielder's choice. And Kelly Shopik's going to be listed for Dan Johnson. Uehara's pitch is inside. 1-0. Shopik had singled in the 7th. Two balls, no strikes. Johnson at first on the fielder's choice. Good cut and a miss by Johnson. 2-1. Foul ball, runs it to 2-2. Jake Arrieta slated to win his 5th game of the year as the Orioles lead 9-3 with 1 on and 1 out in the bottom of the 9th. Johnson lifts a pop fly toward the line and left. PA coming over there in a hurry, and he makes the catch. 2 outs. And Sean Rodriguez will get a plate appearance here after he took over for Sam Fuld. Fuld injured what appeared to be a cut lip when he was caught stealing in the 7th inning. Pitch is a strike. Rays have been out hit today 15-8. At one point they got back to 3-2. They trailed 3-0, made it a 3-2 game. And the Orioles just started to build from there. Scored a run in the 5th and 4 in the 6th. Rays got a run in the 8th, and the Orioles added a run in the 9th inning to make it 9-3. John pops it foul. It's going to wind up out of play. So it's 1-2. Lifts it back into left center field. Jones is there to make the catch, and that ends the game. The Rays leave a man here in the 9th inning, picking up a hit, and it's a 9-3 final. Arrieta the winner, 5-1. Sonnenstein the loser. He's 0-1 before 21,505. Took 3 hours and 1 minute to play it. Yankees and the Rays tomorrow. We'll be with you at 6 o'clock on Sun Sports. Now for my partner, Honest Brian Anderson and Todd Callis. This is Dwayne Stats. Hope you've enjoyed the telecast, if not the outcome. 9-3 Baltimore over the Rays. We'll see you next on the postgame.